Hello everyone and welcome to another Big Systems tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to be talking about Flutter. Flutter is a framework developed by Google for building multi-platform applications, mobile applications on Android and iOS. This tutorial is basically for those who have set up Flutter on their system, and if you have done that, you can actually run the command Flutter Create, and that's what you're going to be doing very shortly here. So I'm just going to create a folder on my system, open this folder up with VS Code. Okay, I'm just going to be opening up a new terminal here. Alright, and herein I'm going to be putting in the command Flutter Create. And we're just going to call this expense tracker. You have to be careful with the name you call your application at this point, because it doesn't accept capital letters as the first letter and no spaces. But in the course of this tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to get a better name, because automatically this is going to be the name that appears on the app. So we're going to hit enter right now and wait a while for the Flutter engine to do its work. Okay, so that's just been completed, and from the instruction here we can cd into the expense tracker folder, which I'm just going to do right about now. Alright, okay, so Flutter has a system where you can preview your application in a browser, and we're just going to do that real quick, and we can do that by hitting the command Flutter run. Wait a while for it to compile. Okay, here it's telling us what applications do we want to use to preview this, and we have Windows, Chrome and Edge. So I'm just going to go with Chrome, and that's by typing in 2. So under a few minutes our app is up and loaded. One of the things I will want to do right now, which I love doing, organizes my work, is to reduce this to a mobile view. I can do that by just right clicking on it, clicking on inspect element. I'm going to head on to this icon here that says toggle device and toolbar, and that's going to give me a mobile view, and I could reduce this as much as I can. Okay, and shift this towards this end, and for my VS Code I can simply do this and extend. Just gives me a better working view, so I can easily preview my changes. Okay, there we go. Alright, so this is the main entry point of our application. That's the main.dat, and as you can see here we have Flutter demo homepage. Okay, this is the title here. We can always edit our code, and it's just going to recompile, and we can see a preview on the browser. Very cool, right? Okay, good. So one of the first steps I want to actually do here, because all this code could get a little bit confusing and overwhelming, okay, but not to worry. What we're just going to do is clean it up a little bit. Alright, so we're going to go to the end of the code and take out all of this. Okay, and what we want to do here is create a stateless widget or a stateful widget. Alright, and we can do that by typing in STL and wait a while for VS Code to kick in. Alright, so immediately we take out all those code, we're going to have an error trying to tell us that the my app class can't be found. And what we're going to do right now is just type in STL, and we're going to see insert a stateful widget. We're just going to hit enter, and we want to call it my app, so that's going to clear out that error. We have more cleaner code here, but instead of returning the container at this point, what we're going to do is we'll return material app. Alright, so we want to return a material app here. Then the material app has a property home, and in that property we want to return main page. Okay, so for now the main page doesn't exist, so we are going to create one. The same way we're going to say creating a stateful widget STL. We pick the first one and we're going to call this main page, like so. Alright, it's important we have the material app here because it has a lot of properties to offer us, like the app bar and the rest of them. So now we have a container here. Alright, for this example, let's just call this center and give it a child. We're going to give it a child text. I'm just going to call this hello. So let's take a look at our app and see how it looks like now. So mind you, everything within okay, so we can see that we have hello, but the reason why it's showing weirdly is because we need to wrap the center widget with a scaffold. So we can actually do that by clicking on refactor and sorry, okay, so we are going to say wrap with widget. Okay, so we're going to wrap this with a widget. Okay, wrap that with a scaffold, and instead of child we're going to return body. Okay, this is going to fix that and see a cuter, better text. So it's within the scaffold we can have the app bar. Okay, good, we have that. So one thing I know a lot of developers want to do immediately is to take off that debug banner, and to do that we just head over to the material app and we have a property called debug check mode banner, and we set that to false. We come again and restart this. With my mic closer. Okay, so we see that bar is done. Alright, so the next step we want to do now is install some very basic important packages. It's going to help in our development, and it could be a hassle sometimes, and I actually have a set down list of dependencies. I'm just going to copy and paste that into the prospect.yaml file. Alright, I'll be doing this shortly. Okay, I'm going to head on to I'm going to copy from the dependency down here. Okay, so one of the basic things we need to do again is create a folder for our assets. Alright, so I'm just going to head in here, call this assets. Within the assets I need another folder called images, as you can see that depicted in the prospect.yaml file, and I'm going to head on to here, my assets folder, images. Let's just copy this is my logo, and go back into our projects. Okay, inside assets, images, and paste that there. Okay, so this should be updated because the prospect.yaml reports that you can't find this image, so just give it some time and it's going to resolve that. Alright, so I have a couple of packages here. which are going to help in my development. Okay, all right. So based on these packages I have, there are certain commands I need to run. All right, there are two basic things: the splash screen and the launcher icon. Personally, I just love to get that sorted out. Okay, so I'm going to come into my terminal. Let's put this up for a while. Okay, and I'll be running some commands. One of the commands I'll be running is for the splash screen. I have a package for that. I head onto my terminal, paste that in. The package is actually Flutter native splash. I'm going to link the description to the repo where you can see the instruction on how to set that up. So that's already set up. The next thing I want to do right now is create or set up the launcher icon. I'm going to paste this command again. The next thing I want to do is adjust the Android label name. It's called a label name, or you could call it the, okay, I have an error here. Alright, the reason why I'm having this error is because of the setting within the Android system, which we are going to check and see. Alright, we're talking about something. Yeah, for the launcher name, we can adjust that by going to Android, going to app, going to source, main, then Android manifest, and we can see label name. Here we're going to call this e-tracker. Alright, okay, so the error we're experiencing because of the launcher icon is something we need to adjust within the Android app, but this time around the build.gradle. I need to adjust these two lines of code here. Alright, so I'm going to adjust that and rerun this code. Okay, so as you can see, everything is in order. So I'm going to run the application again on my browser. I'll give that some time to kick in. So our application is up and running. I'm just going to restart this again so we can see the changes. Alright, okay, let me just reload this so we can see the cute splash screen there, and after a while it loads our page. Okay, so that's up and running. Okay, so we just have one single widget within the center of our app saying hello, but that's not what we want. What we want is to create something looking cute. Alright, Flutter has a lot of widgets, and trust me, at a point it can get overwhelming. What I'm going to do in this example is I'm going to separate this page into 3 sections. I'm going to have a top card, I'm going to have an expense body, and I'm going to have a bottom bar. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, so within my scaffold, instead of returning a center, I'm going to return a column, because with a column I can have children. Alright, and the children of this column come one over the other. So in Flutter we have columns, we have rows. Rows are spread around left to right, columns come up to down. Alright, so and let's just call this, but first, before that, we are going to separate the components of this widget so it doesn't get overwhelming. Alright, if we put everything here, it could get really overwhelming. I'm going to head on to the lib folder, and I'll be creating a file here called topcard. Alright, topcard.dat, All right, then I'll be creating another file. That file called expense underscore body of that. All right, then I'll be doing bottom bar. You can call this anything you want. Bottom bar of that. All right, so within this, I'm going to first import the material.dat file. You can do this by doing package material. Here we go. Here. All right, then I'm going to create a stateless widget here. I'm going to call this bottom bar. All right, it could just return a container for now, and to save time I could just copy this, or let's just do it afresh. Import package material that we go here. All right, create a stateless widget also. This time around we call it, so when you type stl you just hit tab to bring out this suggestion. All right, okay, so we're going to put expense body here. All right, we're going to head on to top card. In the top card we do the same thing. All right, material, that's okay. I'm going to call this a stateless widget also. Then we'll call this top card. All right, these are just customized widgets that are going to hold properties of other things we'll be doing. All right, okay, so I'm going to head on to my main.dat file, and after changing this, okay, let's take this out for now, change this to column widget. Okay, then the column widget accepts accepts children. All right, so these children are going to be the different components or the different widgets that are going to be arranged from up to down. All right, so we have top card. As you can see, since I've already created it, I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to automatically import the package because it can find it. Okay, I'm going to end this with a comma. All right, I'm having an error here. I guess it's because of the column sign. All right, so the next part is the expense body. I'm just going to hit that expense body auto import. It's going to import that. I'm going to come in here and do bottom bar. It's going to auto import also. Okay, here we go. All right, so one of the things I want to do here is or to show that this is working, let's head on to our top card. Go to the top card. We're going to change this to a center, and we're going to make this child. All right, let's put a text there and call this top bar. All right, let's do the same for the bottom bar. Okay, so this we're going to call this bottom bar, and let's go to the expense body and do the same thing. Call it center expense body. This is just to give us an idea of the layout. We'll refresh our page, and you see our beautiful screen, our beautiful splash screen there. And after some seconds, we should be having our page divided into 3. Okay, so we can see that top bar, expense bar, bottom bar. All right, I know it's not really structured right, but that's just to give us an idea of what we're working with. All right, I'm going to head on to the main.dat right now, and before I have these columns, I want to have a tiny space around every of my items. All right, so I'm just going to wrap this with a padding. The padding is also a widget that accepts the amount of space from top, left, right, or how you want to do that. So I'm going to head on to padding. It's going to automatically come with edge inserts. Say okay, fine, that's okay with me. Then for the scaffold, I want a background color. I want it to be gray. Alright, and I want that gray to vary. Okay, sorry, this is not how you write colors. We have to first call the colors class, then have gray. Alright, so we have that here, then we just do 300. Okay. Alright, so let's go into our top card and begin to make some beautiful adjustments. Alright, we'll head into okay, one other thing I could point out here is we have a widget called expanded widget. Expanded widget helps you fill up the whole space within that area. I'm going to show you how that actually works. I'm going to head on to my expense body, or I could do that within this child. Let's just call this expanded. Okay, let's just see how that works out. Okay, so as you can see, there's little change here. The income and expense are all separated to the left, extreme left and extreme right. Okay, and we have this little padding around. So let's just make an adjustment to the padding. Let's change the padding to 20. Okay, this is the padding for the whole body. Let's do a refresh so we see what's happening right there. We're gonna get into our top card. We want to actually make a card, so we're going to come to the container. We want to give it a height. All right, I'm gonna make that height 200. All right, so the next step we want to do is we want to declare a height, and we want to actually make we want to put this in a container and give it a color, so we could appreciate what's going on here. All right, so I'm going to wrap this yet again with a container. All right, and I'm going to give it a color, and that color could be gray. Okay, sorry, we're going to do colors again. That's gray, and here we could do 200. Okay, what did we do here? We did 300, so here we could do 200. So let's see how that plays out. Okay, awesome. We can see the clear-cut difference there. So we have that section, and what we want to do within our column right now is make sure we evenly distribute the space, because we have a 200 height dimension for this container, but the contents of it are too close to the top. Okay, so we are going to do a main axis alignment setting. Okay, so that has to be my container. So main axis alignment, that's going to be main axis alignment. We are going to say space between. All right. Okay, so we can see that, and then this tells us that we need to wrap this within a padding, or we could just adjust this from here and say main axis around alignment. We could say space evenly. space evenly, hit that with a comma, and let's see how that works out for us. So this is better. All right, so I could have another text here that says 5,000. okay, and I could style this widget with the styles property. Alright, and mind you, for you to see the properties of a particular widget, you can just take your mouse and hover over it, then you can see the different options you can use for that widget. So for the text widget here, I can see I have the structure, I have text style, that's why I'm using the styles property. So within here I can have font weight, okay, dots, let's say 500, sorry, okay, let's just go with bold. We have a problem here. Sorry, this has to be wrapped within a text style widget also. Text style, okay, good. So within here I can now have font weight bold. Okay, I just had to check that up quickly. Alright, so we're going to refresh this and take a look at what we have so far. So a good understanding of how to use your rows and your columns is very, very important. So I'm going to be adding font size also. Font size to make this a little bit bigger. So let's just call this 21. Okay, so here we go. Alright, but a beautiful thing I'm going to do right here is I'm going to change this to, I want to have kind of a border around this beautiful card. It doesn't really look that beautiful, but it's going somewhere, and to do that I have to wrap this within a clip rect widget. Yeah, I know it's a lot to take in at first, but with time you begin to get a hang of it. So I have the clip rect, yeah, and this takes in a border radius, radius of all, you could say 23. Okay, I have an error there. Okay, this should be circular. Alright, so let's have that as 12. Let's take a look at what we have now. So right about now you can actually still connect your phone, your device, so we can see that beautiful curve around the surface. So let's take a look at the column. And the column, we have balance and we have this row. So within this row I could decide to wrap this within a padding. Alright, so let's see what we can do within that. Alright, or we could rather change this because I don't want it to be at the edge. So let's call this main axis alignment. We did the space between, you could say space around. Alright, let's see how that looks. Okay, this is perfect. Alright, so I'm just going to pause this tutorial for now until we continue in our next videos, but I hope this has been able to give you a little experience on how to play around with your get started with your Flutter project. Thank you very much for watching. Please do like, subscribe, you know how it is. Thank you very much.